I think you hit the nail on the head. Like that 4 day span was a microcosm of our year where, in round one against Windsor, we played perhaps the best game of the year and then followed that up with one of the worst periods of the year in the opening period against Brock. I think it was, we graduated out a lot of experience during the break when we sent 6 players off to professional hockey, and ultimately, that hurt us the deeper we got into playoffs. I think that the what we had left was conducive for playing in a small arena like Windsor plays in, and we went in kind of with no pressure on us. And then coming out of that game, I think maybe we felt, a little bit more pressure. Went to a game where we knew the opponent very well. Brock and us, we'd played
A bunch.
5 times that year, and I think 4 of them were 1-goal games. And it unraveled quickly, and we didn't have the experience there to kind of get it under control before the game was beyond our reach at that point in time. So this year, moving forward, we hope that the experience of both, allow us to find a way as a team to not get sucked into the highs and lows of what happens in sports, because I think that really hijacked our emotions. And from there, once that happens and emotionally you're, undisciplined, it makes it very difficult for you physically to execute what you need to do to have success. Those questions are still to be answered because we do look unlike we have in the past 3 or 4 years. It was something that happened a little bit by circumstance and a little bit by design, where certainly on the back end, on the blue line, we graduated out, in the past 2 classes, we graduated out 4 or 5 guys that maybe were a little bit smaller, but defended well with their feet and really were good puck movers. And last year, the deeper we got, that, we kind of looked and said, okay, that's great as long as we keep winning the races, but as soon as we get into competitive games against teams, the TMUs, the U of Ts, the Windsors, where they've got big, strong forwards that are tenacious, we're getting out muscled. So that was something that we looked at, certainly when we were looking at rebuilding our blue line. And then up front, it just kind of happened that the recruits we landed were a little bit bigger than the guys that we'd had up front previously. So we'll see whether that translates. It's one of those things where you try and find the best fit for what you've got remaining and how you want to move forward. We play on Olympic ice, but not everybody in our division does. So it's a balancing act of being able to still have enough skill, but also the size and strength that's necessary to win at the university level. Well, like any hockey team, you start with that area around the net, right? And we have to start with our goaltender, and Cole Ceci now has, he got some pretty good experience his first year when he was the backup, and then last year carried the bulk of the load for us. So he's a guy that we're going to lean on fairly heavily, although he's going to be pushed really hard by both Carter and Nolan that we brought in this year to keep that number 1 spot. And then from there, then we start building forward, and the next guy that might be equally or more important is our captain, Xavier Pouliot. Big right-handed defenseman, moves well. He's a guy that we're going to count on in all situations, and certainly to lead the team in the right direction. And to finish up front, I think Ben Evanish is our most experienced forward up there now, and certainly somebody who's vastly improved since he walked through our door. And again, lead by example type of guy that I think really can set the tone for how we want to play as forward core. Well, again, going back and starting from the crease, I think both Carter Sarienko and Nolan Boyd have the ability to push and challenge to be our starting goaltender every day, and give us a chance to win every night we play. So we look there. I think that's going to be a really competitive 3-headed monster in net, that hopefully that gives us, as I say, we start with a chance to win every night because of the quality of our goaltending. on the blue line, all four guys, David, Brian, Klim, and Cole have all come in and shown, they've got good habits. They're tough to play against one-on-one. They move the puck really well, so they're going to get a lot of opportunity just the way our blue line is made up this year. And then up front, boy, we got guys that really like to work, and they've shown already that they can probably penalty kill, they can probably check. We've got a couple of guys that maybe have shown they've got some offensive flair that's going to translate to our level. So yeah, there's lots of opportunity for all of our incoming recruits to grab big roles this year. Well, I think anybody who coaches hockey will tell you that you're considered brilliant if you have a great goalie, and you're considered a terrible coach when you don't. Like at the end of the day, goaltending is the most impactful position on the ice. So it has always been important, and we've been lucky in my time here. We've always seemed to have had two goalies that could be starters and kind of compete for crease space. And once again this year, and I think, in all due fairness to the guys that have played that role in the past, that maybe Nolan is a slight step ahead. So that now we're looking at, I think we have legitimately three options to play. They all play slightly different styles. But I think at the end of the day, your team feels it when there's somebody in net that you kind of question whether they're of the university caliber. Yeah. So that's certainly important for us, and we feel blessed right now that what we've seen through training camp in the preseason, that we've got three goalies that can play at this level.